injury notes going into some of the games that do matter this weekend in a variety of ways. Josh, what can you tell us about Josh Allen, Gross?
He's got a foot injury that he aggravated during the game against the Eagles on Sunday. His offensive coordinator, Joe Brady, said it affected some of their play calling. Didn't feel as comfortable getting Josh out of the pocket. Obviously, he wants to keep playing. He's got a streak going, but the Bills cannot get the bye. They know they're going to be playing on the road in a wild card game the week after this. So it's possible you see them decide to sit him down if they think that'll help get that foot healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, one of those where he takes a few snaps to keep the streak alive and sits. And who could have a problem with that? I guess the question is, and he just did not look right on Sunday, and the conditions are one thing, and the Eagles' defense is great and all that. He didn't look like himself. So I'll ask the question, Neek. We now know he's going to have to do it from the back of the pack. No Mahomes, but he's going to have to win 3 road playoff games in all likelihood to do it. Do you believe that he and this team are good enough to do that?
Absolutely. I think they're good enough. I think it's a long shot, but this is where, like, the legends are made. This is where you elevate yourself from a conversation of being one of the greatest quarterbacks in this era to one of the best of all time. Like a Super Bowl run on the road with a hurt foot and a defense that can't stop the run allows us to say that Josh Allen is one of the greatest quarterbacks that we've ever seen. Even though we know it by seeing it on the field, him doing something like that in a situation like this, I think it creates a legacy and a legend around the guy that I think it eventually will happen, but this is an opportunity, I think, for us to change the way that we think about and talk about Josh Allen.
Yeah, I think it's a storybook ending, and I think the storyline of it all is fantastic to talk about. But we've seen this story where Josh Allen goes on an unbelievable run in the playoffs, and I think the team that he currently has this year may be the worst one of what we've seen in the last several years when you look at the weapons on the outside, when you look at some of the deficiencies on the defensive side of the ball. So I think for Josh Allen, you said he didn't look right in the game this past Sunday. I just think there is so much pressure for him to be fantastic on every single play that there are going to be moments where it looks a little bit reckless because in Josh Allen's mind, he has to make those type of plays for Buffalo to get to where they want to get.
Dan, I'm just looking at the places he might have to go, right? Denver, Jacksonville, or Houston. We've seen that game, Houston, but and then New England, where he's won a game. I mean, these are the Bills and Patriots split this year with each team winning the road game, and then the champion of the AFC North. I think we're not going to take that seriously one way or the other. We're going to get to them in a minute. So could he do it? Look, I for one will be rooting for him. I'd like to see, to Neek's point, him cement this thing. Now, next injury, Graz. Jordan Love did not play last week with the concussion. They're locked in where they are, right?
They are locked into the 7th seed. Cannot make that better or worse. Jordan Love did practice on a limited basis last week, but was not cleared from concussion protocol in time to start Saturday's game on a short week. It's entirely possible he'll be cleared for this week's game. A concussion protocol is different for everyone. We'll see if he makes his way through it, but the fact that he was on the practice field last week is at least encouraging. Question is, do you play him? A concussion situation, if he's cleared, is not the kind of thing you're going to aggravate by playing, right? So do you give him 2 weeks off ahead of the playoffs, or do you get him in there to get some, activity so he doesn't go that long without playing? I think that's assuming he's cleared by the doctors from concussion protocol. That's the question the Packers face.
Nick, this is one that will have to come from the literal back of the pack. They will be the last team into the NFC side. They haven't won a game since they lost Micah Parsons. Do you give this team any chance of making a run all the way?
Yeah, I held out some hope after the Micah Parsons injury that this defense will return to the form that they were in last year before they added Micah Parsons, which was really good, and they didn't. And the injury to Jordan Love also makes it more difficult. I think it's a really long shot. I don't really see it happening right now. Jordan Love would have to be unconscious and not make any mistakes all postseason long because the margin of error is gone now that Micah Parsons is also gone.
What do you think?
And coming off potentially missing 2 weeks of play for Jordan Love, I'm right with Nick on this one. That defense, when you get a guy like Micah Parsons, it changes everything. Last year, you didn't know what you didn't have. This year, you did experience that. Also missing Devontae Wyatt, who went out a week before Micah Parsons. There's just too many injuries, I think, for this defense to overcome and be able to win in the playoffs.
All right, and then we say the last one for last, which is the last game of the NFL regular season will be Baltimore at Pittsburgh Sunday night. Will Lamar Jackson be playing?
They don't know yet. John Harbaugh said yesterday to be determined. He has a back injury that kept him from practicing last week. Harbaugh said he was encouraged by how much better Lamar felt as the week went on, but they still need to see him on the practice field. Their first practice of the week will be tomorrow, so we'll see if he's able to get out there, and if so, what he's able to do. And then this will go through the week. If his activity level progresses to a point by Friday where they feel comfortable starting him Sunday night, they absolutely will. But I think they need to see him get through some practice.
And the one thing, and they played on Saturday, so we do Sunday NFL Countdown. The one thing, Nick, all my guys were talking about was maybe the absence of Lamar Jackson was a factor in them finally recognizing they just need to give the ball to Derrick Henry on every play. just give it to him on every single play and take your chances from there. It's basically what they did, and it worked. So if I put the over-under for Sunday night of the number of touches for Derrick Henry at 29.5, Domonique Foxworth, what would you do?
Oh, I'm definitely going over. Like I assume that the Steelers aren't going to put up enough points to make the Ravens have to throw it a lot, and I think the Ravens learned their lessons. And Derrick Henry had 200-plus yards last week, and I think 36 carries. Yeah, I think they're going to be going around that same sort of strategy for this game coming in. Is they're going to hand it to Derrick Henry no matter what. And the thing about Derrick Henry is he gets better as the game goes along. So if it doesn't start out well, I think the Ravens still consistently hand it to him until the game is over.
Yeah, and I think last week without Lamar in the lineup, like you said, Greeny, it forced him to do that. So this week, if Lamar is healthy, you get him back in there and you still continue to give Derrick Henry the ball. That will only help Lamar Jackson. I do think this week for John Harbaugh, Graj just said it, what practice looks like today and tomorrow, I would make that decision early. I wouldn't hold out to the end of the week. If Lamar can't practice, I would keep Snoop Huntley in there with the thought of he has that running ability, which helps open the offense. If Lamar is healthy, of course, he should be the guy in there.
There's one other huge storyline in this game, of course, and that is that the Steelers' best offensive player will not be playing in it. DK Metcalf will serve the second game of his 2-game suspension. And the general consensus around here, Neek, the last couple of days has been that if that was him in the corner of the end zone instead of Marquez Valdez-Scantling on Sunday, that the Steelers probably win that game and don't even have to worry about this. What are the right things to say about the impact of that suspension on the Steelers?
It may not even come down to that last play if DK is in that game. He is the one weapon on that team that requires game planning preparation. And we've seen through the course of the season so many of their big plays, either where DK was catching it or he was drawing enough attention for someone else to have an explosive run or a big play. We know that the NFL is about creating explosives on offense, and that team can't do it without DK. It's going to be quite, I mean, we've already talked about how absurd this season is in so many different ways. Going to have DK getting into altercation with the fan might decide who makes the playoffs and wins the the AFC North is shocking, but it seems like it's going to be the case because I don't really like them without DK on the field.
It might decide when Aaron Rodgers plays his final game of his NFL career.
In the last matchup against the Ravens, DK Metcalf had 7 catches for 148 yards against his Baltimore Ravens defense. So when you talk about the impact that he has when he is in the lineup, not only did he kill the Ravens defense, it dictated how they played for the rest of the game. So to think a dumb reaction to a fan in a game is just insane. That's how it's going to end for the Steelers.
Good final word.
I don't think there's any doubt the absence showed up. Talking to people there, they felt like they moved the ball well against a tough Browns defense, but when they needed a play made, you know, a one-on-one matchup one, they didn't have the guy to go to.
All right, much more on the NFL as we go, but I want to run the floor because there's some big stories. One,